make sure it's other folks can see it. So how'd you do with your scope and auto guiding things?
I was kind of surprised. Last night I went out with it and I was looking at the Orion Nebula most of the night. And I was going to pack it up and go in, and I thought, well, why don't I hook my computer up to the mount and see what happens through the handset? And lo and behold, I clicked on the ASCOM, which is supposed to give you your information of your computer setup. And lo and behold, I found out that I had apparently signed up on the 11th. I don't know how or why. It wasn't all correct. I had to go in and change camera 2 to the proper camera, which is ASI 120. From there, I thought I was going to work everything. So I signed up, or I logged into PH2 and
PHD2, right?
PHD2, sorry about that. I thought it was going to work. It seemed like it was working, and some system hung up, and then I logged off, logged back on, got everything back up, and PHD2 said that you don't have a COM3. I know I don't have a COM3, but that's what I was told to enter in my description of my website. So at that point,
you have a PC, right? Not a Mac?
No, I have a PC.
Yeah, you got to go there and reassign the COM3. Pick another COM. Go see the COMs that are available and just pick one.
I don't know which ones are available.
There's in your control panel, there's a manager that shows you the COMs and what's attached to them.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought that they were past history. I didn't. No. Okay.
It's a port somewhere, and you've arbitrarily labeled the ports on your computer to which plug in. It's actually a socket.
Of course, it's USB ports, and somehow you can relate those to COM settings. But in the settings icon for Windows 10, I'm trying to see where they might have that. Where do they allow you to do that? I think if we go back to the old control panel, which is still a possibility, you don't see it there. Let me see. If I go to File Manager and then go on File Manager, you can see where it says Control Panel.
Yeah, I can get Control Panel.
Click on Control Panel, and then hardwares and sound, devices, printers. Must be under hardware, devices, printers, add a device. See, devices and printers. Comes up slowly. Shows devices. But where you do the settings for something like I've got a USB keyboard. If I do a properties on that, on the keyboard, doesn't the hard click and then general, then there's hardware. I'm not sure if I can show you what I'm doing here. So you got a little box like this in control panel, and it has USB composite device, universal serial bus. And I think this is too generic. Oh, here, properties, maybe under properties, driver, no, details, device description. Does it have capabilities? Don't think it's under there. That's not it. Not going to be under events. So I'm not sure
I could do a search on the web and see what they say.
Yeah.
Well, that's good news, I think.
And you said you connected your laptop through your hand controller?
Yes.
And
to
then
get the information on the mount.
And then you have your your guiding camera is connected also to the laptop?
No, the guiding camera is connected to the mount, which is connected to the computer.
Okay, okay.
Which brings up the question, I entered the data for camera 1 as being part of my mount. I don't know in PHD2, is that where I enter information on the auto guiding telescope?
Yeah.
I don't know where. I didn't bother to try to find out. Somewhere I must enter the info for the auto guider.
You mean what kind of camera it is and stuff?
Yeah, well, already the cameras, steps 1 and 2. I mean, it's
Yeah.
camera 1 and camera 2, so that's not an issue.
Okay,
The description only is provided for one camera, which I assume
Okay.
is the main camera, which may not be correct.
Oh, one of the things is that you're having a problem having the autoguider control the mount, correct?
Yes,
And what you're doing is connecting it from the camera using the ST4 port. Now, if you go down to the pull down, because I've got PhD guiding, okay, it says it's got mount, okay. Don't select your Celestron mount. Use if you're using the ST4 port, you need to use the hold a second here, and I just had it and it's not. There's a thing that's called on camera. Okay.
under that mount description.
Yeah, on camera, right. Because what that's doing is ignoring anything that you might have with the other. What you're telling it is, I want to control it through the ST4, the ST4 port on the camera.
Yes, that camera on that port.
Right. Okay.
Talking about this mic?
Okay, hold a second. Let me turn this off here so I can see. Whoops.
Yeah, mount should be on camera.
Not mount, yeah, instead of none, it should be on camera.
On camera.
If
Oh,
you're
huh.
using the ST4 port.
That's what I do. And then it
Yeah.
seemed to me that on the Starshoot, I had some kind of an ASCOM in parentheses on it, but I've got an older version. So I don't know if that makes any difference.
Let me take a look here on what I have here.
It's funny, they got two different Starshoot auto guider and they have Orion Starshoot DSCI.
Well, there's also S big, that's incorrect.
Yeah, the last one there is SWO.
Oh, that's
There you
that's
go.
one you're using, yeah.
Yes,
So that's what Ed Kolaski is using there.
Mine, I have okay, yeah. I've got CMOS SSAG Pro camera, and then it's got ASCOM in parentheses. But I thought I had Starshoot, but and then for the mount, I've got on camera.
Does
So
that
are
give
you connected? Go ahead, Ed.
are you going to enter a description on camera? Do you enter a description of what telescope you're going through?
No,
Focal
all
length
I've got
parameter?
is all it says on mount. It just says on camera. That's all it does. So I'm guessing what it does is, as far as PhD is concerned, or PhD2, is that you've got an ASCOM interface to the camera, and then the camera handles the mount interface. So
And it doesn't care what the size of the auto guiding telescope
no,
is?
that's taken care of in the calibration.
I don't
So your
understand.
calibration, when you do your calibration, basically what you're going to do is you got a star in the middle. That's going to be that's going to be the star that you're going to be used to guide on. And then what it's going to do is it's going to incrementally go away from that star. I believe it goes, I can't remember if it's at east or west first, and then it goes back, and then it'll clear backlash, any backlash that's in there, and then it'll start going north and then south. Okay. Problems you need to worry about, at least on my Orion drive, is that sometimes what happens is you get enough backlash that you won't be able to clear it, especially on declination. So what'll happen is you'll get a little wind up, and all you need to do, you'll watch it as it guides. It'll be getting further and further off, and then you'll go up to some kind of maximum, and then it'll start to come back down and get down more along the center line of where you want to be.
The focal length does matter. It's in the, if you go to the brain thing, you bring up all the different advanced settings. And if you go in guiding, under calibration, it says focal length and calibration step, and let's see here, a bunch of other things.
I got an earlier version too, so maybe
I've got PhD. Well, okay. If you got PhD2 up, okay, you go to, you click on the brain, which is advanced settings, and then you've got 4 panes: global, camera, guiding, and algorithms. And if you go to the guiding, okay, they ask for the focal length, but I think that's, you enter these numbers through a different menu, but that
Oh, yeah.
tells you.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm sorry. I do have that. 240 millimeters is my guide scope, and the calibration steps, I don't know what the heck, but
Yeah,
I'm not sure I changed that. I just put in the focal.
yeah, yeah. The last time I used it, I used my QSI 410, and I used the C11, and so my focal length is 2,750 millimeters because I was using the GPS 11. So where you get that, I think, is under advanced settings. You go and then you can edit it. Otherwise, but anyways, when you're selecting your camera, I think if there's the program smart enough to say, hey, since you're using this camera and you're using this mount, you could use either the ST4 interface if you want to, or you could use pulse guiding, which is what I normally use, because
Or use what was that? Both?
pulse guiding. Your mount should be new enough that it uses the ASCOM pulse guiding, which is more accurate.
Oh,
But right now, you're not able to use it at all.
I don't see pulse guiding here. There's a calibration step.
It's when you use if you use the on-camera interface, that implies ST4 relay outputs are being used, and it's a simplified way of doing it. It's kind of a dumb way of doing it. The pulse guiding, when you select the mount and the camera together, that starts using ASCOM, which is more intelligent. It has some of the hooks that allows you to vary the speed, not just, bang, bang, type of interface where it's moving things back and forth. It's being more intelligent, it's more granular and finer control. And supposedly is able to get you better guiding results.
okay, sounds good.
Okay, I have a question for the general public here. I have a friend, Hal Jandorf, who's having issues using his Autoguiding camera with the ASI, the little computer, you know, the ASIAIR Plus. Has any of you guys had any experience with that? It's the one where it's basically a rebadged Raspberry Pi, and they put it in a nice case and they load it up with ZWO software, Indie, and stuff like that.
What was
I
that?
guess
What
not.
was that? What was that system called, Mike?
It's called the, hold a second here, let me bring it up again. It says ASIAIR Plus Wi-Fi camera controller. And basically, it's like a system like Hank's using, only it's prepackaged with the software, and it contains everything needed to hook up the ZWO cameras or a DSLR camera and control your mount. And yeah, there it is right there. So it works with all the ZWO peripherals, the guide wheels, all the cameras, and it's Wi-Fi, and you use your smartphone, which is you know, makes it wireless, you know, less tangles and all that. The only downside I see is you're using your smartphone. So if you're using it in the middle of nowhere and you get into trouble and you run down the batteries on your camera, you're I like using specific equipment for specific uses, you know. Yeah. So it's a way to declutter things, because it distributes the power and controls different cameras and stuff. So you don't have as many wires snaking down from your telescope to your mount to your computer.
Well, you can actually use it with a DSLR camera too for shutter release. That's pretty wild.
Yeah. And it's very advanced. It's got the Indie suite, which Hank just loves using, and does plate solving and alignment, and basically takes the place of a laptop.
Except you have to interface with it with a smartphone, huh?
You know, this one thing that if it was me, I'd see about whether I could use a computer or laptop.
Well, you know, if I've got to say, if it's a single point wireless connection, then you should be able to just change it to the SSID of whatever this device is.
Right.
And it'll dominate. You won't be able to get on the internet or anything like that.
Well, I have a feeling you should be able to get on it with a remote Indie or something like that, you know, on the desktop, much like what Hank does, and I guess Bob, you know, both of those. I don't know where Bob is, but you know, they showed me how to connect things up remotely.
Oh, they're doing remote desktop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you should be able to do that with this, because it's the Indie universe where it's got the ecos and all that.
Okay.
So, but the thing is that with the app, and I'm looking at the instructions in the app, it kind of simplifies things, so things are more opaque. And he's having an issue where he can't see stars in his from his Autoguiding, which is a 120 camera from ZWO, you know, which I use. So one of the things we're going to have to ask is, how do you get to the submenus to control that better? But anyways, you know, I mean, for what it is, I mean, it does cost as much as an inexpensive laptop, but it's all self-contained. The only downside I see, and according to him, is when you take pictures that get stored in the onboard non-volatile memory, uses a little micro SD. And so you have to take that off and download it to your computer to work on it. There must be a way to get it directly down to your computer otherwise. And it's probably done that way because when it's used with a smartphone, smartphones don't have all that much memory to begin with. And so, but I mean, it's a neat little concept. And the only thing that I don't know if it does is to do real-time stacking, so that if you use this for like public outreach, that you could show people what the picture is as it builds up, like in the automated telescopes.
Does say live stacking right here.
Well, it does. Okay. So it does.
But I'm not seeing the control stuff here, the software part of it.
Yeah, I know there, and I looked at the software manual, I downloaded it, and it's not very transparent, although I'll probably have to dig some more.
Let's see, USB port.
E equals M squared C.
Where'd you
No,
see
Not
that?
up.
It's not nuclear.
You're going up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, EM
Oh, I
squared C.
see. Yeah. Yeah,
Oh.
I guess that. Yeah.
Electrically modifiable,
Microchip.
no, well, memory. It's
Oh, okay.
They need to change it to EMCC, I guess.
or EEMC for electrically erasable memory chip. Or something.
Oh, a field programmable data array.
Yeah. No, it's not a good data array. It's just,
EGA.
yeah. Anyways, so that's a neat little thing. There's a couple of those on the market. I think.
What's this mean by it'll do stacking for you? It takes the pictures and then you stack them?
I guess it says it does it here, but
There's live stacking
Etc.
available, I guess. Somehow you can be able to control that.
hardwire the ALSA to via Ethernet cable to your home Wi-Fi router or access the device anywhere
Okay.
you get home. So
this has no real computing power. It's just a
yeah,
telescope.
It's like a hub, yeah.
it says there is no VNC or remote desktop.
Hmm.
Okay.
So,
So what they did was they stripped some things out to make it usable with a camera to simplify the operation.
but how do you, what is the software that you talk to this with?
I have to, when they talk about
Activation.
they
You're not
talk
showing the
about,
software.
well, hold a second, hold a second here, exit full screen. Whoops. Okay, 1 second here. I think I have.
So they got an ASIAIR app. Somewhere you got to get this ASIAIR app.
Yeah, right. Here, let me do a share and then I'll show you what the thing is. Okay, ready? Oh.
Is that it?
It's a phone
The application.
Yeah,
This
it is.
This is the Apple view.
They talk about downloading It's, okay, they talk about the compatibility being part of the Indy. So it says here in the manual, Indy supported mount list, http://ilib.org/devices/telescopes/html. So I have a feeling what they did was they took the Indy and they modified certain things so that they could put it on the camera and also make it specific to just ZWO.
Looks to me like it's just a connector that goes on your telescope. So all the functions on the telescope can plug into this. And
Well,
then it goes over the internet Wi-Fi so that you get it on your computer in your house, and every single program that you would have used otherwise, like Nebulosity and PHD2, you can use these through that device.
You think so? Okay.
Yeah. It's like what astrophysics used to sell as the ICRON, ICRON, which is a sender and receiver, but with an Ethernet cable between the two. And that's what I use. It's a similar thing. It's a hub that's on the telescope, and you just have one wire that your dog can trip over and tangle up.
Well, I guess you've had that issue. Okay. Anyways, so, it's one way of making a normal telescope into a smart telescope, much like, and I'm forgetting the name of the automatic telescope we used to talk about, with the cell phone. Anyways.
The Coomer Observatory type thing?
No, it's the, what's the automated? There's two of them.
What's the what?
The automated, the small telescope we talked about. Oh God, I'm having a senior moment.
The cat?
What?
The cat?
No, it's the little reflector telescope that totally automatic.
I don't know what you mean.
Okay, well, it'll come to mind about
Okay.
2 hours from now.
You're talking about the Horizon camera where it does auto stacking?
No, it's okay. I'm gonna.
What does this thing do?
Okay, hold a second here.
So why is Hal Jandorf's name familiar? Who is that guy?
Now, off and on, the president of the ECAS.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's an adjunct astronomy professor at Moore Park.
Yes. Okay, like the Stellina, okay, is one of the telescopes, and the other one is, oh gosh.
You're talking about the new Evolution telescope?
I've never heard of that.
It's a $5,000 telescope that was set up at the Star Party at the Museum of Natural History that Wayne Rosing had allowed Sean Kelly to set up, and it takes in the it's probably like the Stellina, probably like this.
There's another one that's a reflector, and it's just what can I say?
I think this. Let me show you. I think it's this Evolution telescope. Oh, it's called Evolution, please. No, not Evolution. Oh, come on, has a Nikon camera built into it that you control. Right, gosh, I thought it was an Evolution. It sounds like maybe it's called the Evolve or something. Let's see. Evolve telescope. No. Darn it.
Boy,
What was it?
you need
I
to
very-
erase. You need to erase this meeting. It just shows you how decrepit our memories are becoming.
Oh, I thought it was
Adds depth to-
EFT.
Yeah, go ahead. It adds depth to the meaning of the word atrophy.
You know, I used to think of myself as gracefully declining, but it's become precipitous.
I call myself slowing down.
Yeah, right.
It all happens, but slowly.
Yeah, okay.
Getting ready for your permanent rest state.
I hope not.
You know, when people, ask me how's the retirement going to be, and I said, well, you can survive a career, but you can never survive retirement.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, it's a Unistellar Evscope.
Yeah, that's it. Yep, that's it. Yeah. Okay.
Got an E and a V. That's why I remember I thought it was evolution, but this says 3,000. I just thought I saw it for 5,000, the one I saw.
You might have had it on a better mount.
No, that looks like the original. They made it less expensive by taking out the little eyepiece thing. It had a little, the original one had an eyepiece that you actually looked on a little tiny screen. Like
Yeah, that's what
LED.
this one had.
Well, hey, that's great. That's less expensive. This really works really well. It works.
So how
really
automatic is it? Do you just put it down and press a button and step back and have cocoa?
You just
Yes.
you tell it where to go, and it'll find the
does.
sky for you.
What do you
And
have
then
to
I guess-
align? What do you have to align first?
It
Nothing-
aligns
nothing.
itself.
Hmm.
It aligns itself.
Yeah. Let's see. Here we go.
It looks
This will
like
tell us.
they're
Here's a 1-minute commercial.
Unistellar. Yeah. Oh,
Backpack it in.
that's right.
Set up the tripod.
Small enough that you can take an adequate amount of bear spray.
Well, remove the lens cap.
Yep, that's it. This works
Can you
really
can
well.
you hear the sound from this video?
There,
A little bit.
So use a tablet or smartphone with it. There's a sensor.
Oh, it's built right in there.
Yeah.
Huh.
Now
Oh yeah, the one we
you
had an
put it on your
eyepiece.
cell phone.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing about this is that some of the capabilities goes through the net to the factory and back again. Because part of the deal is that they're using your pictures for scientific purposes. It was, the main thing for developing it was to do things like, asteroid searches and occultations, stuff like that.
What's the aperture?
About 4.5, 5 inches. It gets really great shots for what fits in it properly. It really, I mean, so what you really need is something, like an iPad to show people, if you're in public.
Is the Equinox a bigger aperture version of the EV scope?
I'm not sure.
This says Equinox, Evscope Equinox.
Okay.
But it's gone down in price.
I could have sworn I just saw it at $5,000, but
Yeah.
let's see. What's it? Autonomous field detection for setup time under 1 minute, assuming you can find stars. Let's see.
And it does very good under light pollution. Right?
Image processing, light pollution reduction.
Yeah.
35 hours of observation storage capacity. for
12 hours
science
battery.
missions. 12 hours battery, yeah. No eyepiece. Yeah, the one we had an eyepiece on it that had the little sensor inside.
Well, don't they both do. This one, they just took out that thing. They figured people are going to use their phones.
They're not showing it here. Adorama's not showing any other option.
So it could be they got rid of the other one and made this one less expensive.
Let's see if I do search, and well, here's the official webpage, Unistellar Optics.
They're using a new sensor that's more sensitive.
There.
than-
So this is
Okay, yeah, that's it. That's the, and there could be two different models. Yeah.
so I don't know how if you can control how much time you give it for exposure, or
Yes,
I would think so.
yes.
Scroll down. Okay, I want to scroll down.
Hmm.
So yeah, here's your telling it where to go, evidently.
Yeah, I mean, it's. If I was in a retirement home, I'd get one of these, just put it out and do my observing. It does real
This is-
science. It does astrometry and Richard Berry's been doing photometry with it.
So this
So
must be
did
the
you-
Evscope 2. And
Yes.
if I want to order it now, yeah, here's the backpack.
Oh, there you go.
bundle.
There's your $5,000. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the one with the eyepiece, the fake eyepiece on it.
Which people at a start party would like looking through. So
Yeah,
is it
yeah.
worth $2 more $1,000?
People were thrilled about it. It does bring out color like a camera does. So that's why people go, oh, look at that. Wasn't perfectly centered, but
Yeah, this wowed the people much more than my 14-inch did.
Huh?
You don't look out directly at the image, you look at the recorded
Yes.
image, is that
That's
it?
right. It's all electronic. Yeah. Where the diagonal is, they put the chip. And
So what's the eyepiece for then?
is a little tiny screen with an eyepiece that simulates an eyepiece.
Oh, so you don't need a cell phone with that one.
Yeah.
right. Very strange.
I mean, it's not a universal. It's limited in it's not a flexible thing, but for doing what it does,
Yeah, for outreach, it's great.
well, not only that, occultation timing and stuff like that. This was designed for that.
You see the optical magnification 50x.
Right.
That's really pretty good.
Well, that's
So it
the
must be a
apparent.
super small sensor. That's
Yes,
what
it
I'm
is.
thinking.
Yeah, it is.
What's the F number?
I don't see it.
Probably about F4 or 5, I think. Looking from the size of the tube.
Focal 450 millimeters
Okay.
and four and a half
4.5.
inches. That's
So it's-
F10 then, right? No. Let's see.
Yeah.
4.5 inches is what, 110 millimeters?
Yeah,
Right.
So
so it's
it
about
is-
F4.
okay.
Yeah. So that's fairly fast. And
Well, if-
with the small sensor.
You could get the moon in there, 30 arc minutes by 47 arc minutes.
Yeah,
Right.
just. It's not a planet killer.
No, it wasn't designed for that. It was, to get galaxies and small nebula and occultate. Oh, there's the two UV scopes down there.
Oh, there is a difference between them too. So higher resolution on the
Oh,
number
yeah.
2.
Yeah, the eyepiece one, yeah. Has a
Yeah.
higher resolution.
And this has a wider field of view. Better resolving power.
Yeah, that's probably just a bigger sensor is what I'm thinking. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll take 2.
Let's see, that would be what, 8,000?
Well, no, it's actually more like 10,000 for 2 of the number 2 style.
2 of the 2s. I thought you wanted
Yeah.
a number 1 and a 2.
Yeah, then yeah, it'd be more like 8,000 for one of each. Yeah.
I mean, but I consider it very neat. Well, I got some news about my observatory. I took things in my own hand, and today I fiberglassed it.
How's your fiberglass repair doing?
It's done. Well, I did half the dome, and it doesn't look pretty, but I'll paint it white.
As long as it keeps the rain out.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't break again. So what I learned from it, the resin sets up relatively quickly. So I was trying to do 2 at a time, but ideally you just do 1 at a time, and then you don't put as much hardener, I should say catalyst in there as you hope to do, because it sets up rather quickly. It's like 18 to 30 minutes of setup time, and with the temperature that we had up here, it was more like 15 minutes. Mix it up, and then I'm starting to put things and put it on there, and all of a sudden it's starting to turn to gel. So it doesn't look pretty, but like I said, once I paint it, it shouldn't look too bad. It'll look a little bumpy, and I'm debating whether I'm going to put a second layer of fiberglass on there. I might just do it just because. So hopefully I'll be in business again. Another thing too is I looked, remember the 10-inch f3.3 mirror that Tom gave me?
Yeah.
I tested it. And you want to see the results?
Sure.
Sure.
Okay. Let me,
How big is it?
it's a 10-inch f3.3. Hold a second here. Okay, hold a second here. Let me. Okay. Okay, so we'll go through the numbers, and one of the things I found with the Bath interferometer, at these focal ratios, extremely touchy, and initially I was getting results that were really wonky, bad. But according to this one here, it's actually a little bit more. It's more like f3.4. RMS was 0.288 waves. The strehl was fairly abysmal. The focus was, I was off by 2 waveforms, but that is okay. So if we go down to what it looks like, this is what it kind of looks like. It doesn't look too bad from this representation, unfortunately. The view doesn't show, it's got a high central hill, and I could show you. Here it is right here, okay?
Yeah.
So
if you cut that field out, can you give the quality of the mirror with that field masked out for the center?
well, the thing is that, yeah, well, the diagonal is pretty big, right? So,
F3.
so what I'm thinking of I don't know why I don't know why it gave it such a low strehl number. Here, here's what it thinks that the star test looks like. And here's what it looks, it says that it looks like, doesn't look good. But I have a feeling what I can do here, and I'll do it like the local mirror maker here does on the big mirrors. I'll start in from the outer edge. It looks like the 80% point is too high here. And so if I can work on that, get that down a little bit, possibly with a small lap.
Yeah.
And then, get that to be better. Then I'll start thinking about doing the inside here, which is less important. So I sent this to Tom. He hasn't gotten back to me. He probably really doesn't care because I have a feeling that he's just not into making mirrors anymore. But I'm going to get this. I'm going to get this going. And,
Mike.
Yes.
Why does it say up there? There's a mark next. It says 16 diameter. What's that?
It's for this report. You can select the number of slices as it goes through the entire diameter. And so what it's looking at all around the clock, in other words, 16 times around the clock. Okay. So the initial results were, they were all over the place, but when I finally got things dialed in, they were pretty good. If you go up to these numbers at the top here, I was getting anywhere between 0.285 to 295. So that's, what, 1/100th of a wave, difference in RMS. So I don't think it was, I think I had it pretty much dialed in. So let me see if I can show some other things about that kind of, this here is what you would tend to look at from a Ronchi screen and a Foucault screen. That's interesting how that shows up, where this round circle around here corresponds to this area here. You know what I mean? That zone. So let's see what else. Yeah, and this is the diagram. Now, one of the things, initially I wasn't able to get something as nice as this. And so, Jerry, when you start doing a bath, put a polarization filter on your camera and optimize it for best looking.
Okay.
And also focusing on the mirror surface with your DLSR. So, I haven't had a chance to go out and star test this. It means taking apart the 10-inch Dobsonian I have and putting the original pipes in there and the original top assembly, but I'll probably wind up doing that. So if we take a look at some of this stuff here.
Mike, yeah. What is that ROC number at the very top?
Radius of curvature.
Radius, oh, what was that number again? Radius of curvature? 1701?
Yeah, 1701. That's millimeters. So divide.
How did you get these results, Mike? Is this from the Bath interferometer or what?
It's from the free software called dftFringe. Yeah. So takes a little bit of use to it takes a little bit of a learning curve. The one thing is that this can be fairly touchy on the setup. Originally, I had gotten, let me do a stop share and come up with one of the other ones that I had. Here, hold a second. Okay, let me do a share now. Just a little second here. Oh, okay, I can't. Oh, I got too many programs up at the same time, so they're. Okay, so this is one of the first times that I came up, and you can see where, oh, that's not the right one. A second. Okay, as you can see here, when I got it dialed in, the numbers are within, the strehl ratio, much less than a 100th of a thing here. But let me try and find the. No, I'm not going to do it. I'm wasting your time. But anyways, close all tabs, stop share. Anyways, once you get it set up, you can see when I was clicking through there, the numbers are pretty consistent. So that's when you know that you've got things pretty well set up and that you can take and say to yourself, okay, this is what it looked like. I was hoping that the mirror was a little bit better, but I remember Tom saying that he was just having some difficulties getting the star test to look better. So, fast mirrors are hard. Jerry, have you ever done a fast mirror?
The fastest one I've done is f3.8.
Yeah. So the 3.9 mirror is going to be stripped, that I did. It's going to be stripped maybe next week. I'm getting the ferric chloride in. That's what I'm using. There's been some discussion on etching and something else that they talked about.
Is that your 14-inch mirror that you're going to strip? Is that the one?
Yeah, I'm gonna strip that off. And the Oregonian group are really into silvering their mirrors because they're talking about was it about $3,000 to have aluminization on a large mirror, and for a 40-inch they're talking about 5,000. So
Wow.
They're thinking, well, if you do it, if you can silver the mirror once every couple years, that's okay. So they're talking about, I think the chemicals cost maybe between 50 and 100 bucks. And they've been doing all their mirrors lately with that. And the secret is keeping the mirror clean, keeping dust off of it. And I had brought the subject up a couple months ago about how they're deflecting the air over the central part with sort of like a shear laminar, and it comes up and goes up to the diagonal in the vortex. And I guess that's keeping optics clean for a couple years.
So Mike, what's the name of the people you're talking about doing the silvering?
The Oregon telescope makers. It's a local group.
I thought the silvering was done in a vacuum.
It is. Oh, it's not? What?
No, silvering's done with spraying.
Oh, silvering. I thought he said aluminizing. Yeah,
No,
silvering is a liquid chemical
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, they're using weed sprayers on it, and
Oh.
water. They got a couple videos
Oh.
showing how to do it.
What's the difference between silvering and aluminizing? I didn't know there's two different processes.
About 20 times in the life of the coating. One's with silver and the other one's with alumina. And the only way you can aluminize is vaporize it in a vacuum. And the reason for the vacuum is it oxidizes.
Silver tarnishes, combines with sulfur in the atmosphere and turns black. And
Yep.
it does so relatively quickly. So you have to silver it like every year or something along in city air like we have.
Well, maybe, yeah, but these guys in Oregon are,
Yeah,
I guess they're getting a few years out of it, you know, so.
Well, yeah, aluminizing, don't they put a thin silica dioxide, what do you call it?
quartz.
Silicate coating on
Yeah.
above. They don't do that for the silver?
No,
Well, true silvering, well, hold a second, they do have silver coating with oxide, don't they, on some of the websites? That's that ultra bright. I think they do, but I think that has to be thick enough that the oxygen doesn't get to it. But
So are you going to rework Tom's 10-inch mirror?
yeah. Now, my question to you is, I've got some of his old original laps. Do you think that the pitch is still good on them if they, you know, just been stored? They haven't gotten too hard or anything like that? The laps are probably, let's see, I've been retired for close to 4 years, so figure that the laps are 8 years old. Jerry, you think that they're okay to use?
depends. You have to, if they've, you know, the softness of the pitch is an important parameter, just like temperature. And aged old pitch tends to lose its turpentine, and so it becomes much stiffer. So it performs differently, and out of a certain range, it doesn't work well. So you'd have to make a real quick and dirty pitch tester to see how
Okay.
far a weight will push into it, to see whether it's okay for doing that or not.
Like my fingernail.
Your thumbnail is the usual one, if you can calibrate your thumbnail. I have a metal rod with a point on it, and I use I forget, a 1 ounce weight or a 10 ounce weight or something on it.
Yeah.
And I time it for 45 seconds, and it should be in a certain range into the pitch. That'll tell you if it's all right or not.
Okay.
If it's been wrapped up and not exposed to the air, which is how you're supposed to store them, then it'll probably be fine.
It's been in Tupperware containers.
Okay, that's
Closed.
closed. Yeah. Yep.
Pitch
And it's
isn't
gonna,
that ex-
and it's going to get warm here anyway, so it'll get,
Mhm.
it's probably a good thing.
I have an 18-inch tile grinding tool I'm going to give away or throw away if anyone wants it.
pitch
Mike
isn't
wants
that
it.
expensive. Why not just, I don't know if you'd have to strip the old pitch or not.
Yeah.
Another layer on top.
Yeah, you put it in the freezer and then you take a hammer to it inside.
Oh, no, you just
bag.
run a spatula across the top, a dull knife, and it just the stuff just chips off
Yeah,
and makes a mess with whatever it touches.
that's why I do it in a trash bag.
Yeah, right, bingo.
But Jerry, you said you have an 18-inch tile cutter or grinder?
Grinder, a disc, an 18-inch plywood disc with the curve of my mirror on it, f3.8, and tiles all over it. So if anyone has a use for that, it's free. You want it, Mike?
I do, but my wife doesn't.
Well, that's an honest answer.
So I wonder if you could advertise that on cloudy nights or something and see if someone wants it that from,
Now,
would pick it up.
now the
Pay for shipping.
18-inch. Now the 18-inch is that telescope complete? Because I thought you were working on your Del Kirkham.
No, I've stopped work on the Del Kirkham. I'm finishing my 18-inch.
Okay. Okay, that's what's going to be mounted first.
Yes.
So, yeah, so I'll get the 10-inch working. And probably what I'll do is I'll probably put it in the sonotube that I have, because I have a feeling that the optics, it'll be short enough and the sonotube will be rigid enough that it'll keep its alignment better, rather than in a the thing with the Dobsonian as it goes down and with a sling. So
Okay, just a minute, honey.
so I'll let you guys know how things are. I'm not going to be working on it until probably in I figure 1 month. I'll be ready. Right now, what I'm going to do is to try and get the observatory working and get a few images so my wife can share them on NexDome.
Hey, honey, just a minute.
So
Let me ask a question here. Have you done anything with the Bath interferometer that you were talking about before?
no, I just learned how to use it over the last couple of months,
Oh,
and it seems to me to give a pretty accurate results. When you can get, like I said, like I showed those reports. Yeah, that's it.
I gotta go tend to my dog. I'll be back in a minute.
Okay. When you tend to get results that they're talking about, even with junk optics and stuff like that, they're getting repeatability from one guy's tester to another of 1/50th of a wavelength of light.
wow.
And they're talking about variations in this, and they're even saying, well, that could be because of different environments. It's accurate enough that the astigmatism you see is because of the stratification of the temperature of the air in your testing area. So yeah, it actually works pretty doggone good once you get it set up. If I had my druthers, there'd be some modifications. I would use a motorized 3-axis thing so that I can adjust it from my laptop, and fine tuning of the side mirror is on this tester it's got a little bit too much friction, so you're tweaking it and it goes too far and you have to move it back just a little bit. You have to finesse it. It's nothing that can't be done, but once you got it there, it's it stays. But it seems to work pretty good. Again, once you got things dialed in, once you got things set up properly. So,
What did you order? It seemed like when I looked at the site, I don't know, a month ago or two, that you had options as to what to order.
oh yeah. And what I ordered, okay, I tried going cheap, but then I went expensive. I was going to go buy my own 3-axis thing, and I wound up buying his. So also you get the better laser. He sells an inexpensive laser, and then he buys another one where he takes the optics out and puts in a precision.
Oh, look at this. Mike, it says, get at least 30 lasers and make sure you get one good one.
Yeah, see, so what you do is you're paying him to go and do this because he's set up for that. Again, you get the you go down there. There's 2 types of lasers. One is the the plastic lens one, and which is what I got, and the better one, which is like about $20 or so. You get that one because what it enables you to do also is you need to focus the laser beam right at the point that it touches the mirror. Yeah. But yeah, from this part of the website, you don't get to the store, I believe. But now there used to be a William Bell book on Bath interferometers, like a $60 book, and yeah, this guy built his own
lens system.
which one was, you know, I was going to do that originally, but then I realized I don't have all the materials. You know, I actually have the beam splitters. I have a 50 millimeter and a 10 millimeter, but it, according to him, you know, there's a lot of variation in the lenses that you buy from some of these people. They're just, they mismark them. But this one here, okay, this Bath has some good features that mine doesn't. One is a little bit better control of the diagonal mirror for aiming it, because there's a beam that goes from the laser to the side mirror, and you need to keep those two beams almost exactly at the same spot on the mirror.
Huh.
And then you put the lens in front, and that spreads out your beam, and then you're able to
Okay.
take your images. One's the reference, and one is the, I forget what the other one's called. But it works.
Good.
I mean, it seems to.
I think Jerry wanted to mention stuff he's working on his observatory, and Dick
Yeah.
probably has something he wants to bring up.
Well, I'm almost getting ready to shoot, but yes, I think I can do that.
Okay.
I got it tracking right now, guiding right now. But
Did you want to mention anything about your observatory?
me? No, not. I mean, the only thing I would say is that I'm going in for surgery on Friday, so. But I want to try to get back with the
Good
group
luck.
regularly, you know. So what's that now? Good luck. Yeah.
Good luck. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Everything seems to be falling in place, so that's really good right there. So, and this will probably be, you know, this night and tomorrow night will probably be the last time I get to shoot for a while. But I'm not sure.
It's a good night tonight.
It's very good. I was looking at one of the stars that I had in there that I was using for focusing. It's the best night so far. So it's really good.
Well, let me show some pictures that I got real briefly.
Okay.
Okay, see if I can find them here. Let's see. That's not what I want. Well, I'll show this. This is a piece of paper wrapped around the exterior of my carbon fiber tube, 18 inches in diameter. And I'm just marking the circumference of the tube so that I can then lay it out. And this is part of that layout where now I'm figuring out how far apart there's going to be 3 places where the mirror cell is attached to the tube. And each of those 3 places will have 3 quarter 20 holes in it. So this is one of those 3 sets of quarter 20 holes. Then I wrap it back around the tube. And this is all laid out flat. I put it back around the tube, and then I put tape on where the drills are going to go through. And then I progressively went through a series of drilling a very small pilot hole and then getting bigger and bigger till I got up to the quarter inch clearance hole for that. This carbon fiber tube drills just like wood would drill, hard wood. So it handles really well. Those are the drills I use, ending up with a 1/4 inch. And then this is it fit perfectly as soon as I put it in. So this is the mirror cell backing, and it's held in by its 3 sets of screws. Now let's see if I can find, oh, that's another picture.
Jerry, is that
Yeah.
outside of a carbon fiber tube? Is it always that shiny?
Yeah, well, it is, but you can paint it or sand it. I'm not going to do either one. I'm going to let well enough alone. A lot of people paint them. Bruce has suggested coating it with a white fabric, a white,
Oh yeah, keep the moisture away. Huh?
I forget what it is, to keep dew from forming on it. And if dew is a problem in my backyard, and I'm going to give that a try, but I'm not going to permanently deface or attach it to the tube. Just tape it on or something and see how that works. And yeah,
Where'd you get your tube from?
I got it from a place in Chicago called Rocket Tubes or something. You had it, we had it, Tom put it up on the website one time, shared it one evening. They specialize in making carbon fiber tubes for large amateur telescopes. And this is one of their larger tubes. It's 22 inches and 1/8 of an inch OD. And let's see if I can find other pictures.
And the tubes are used for rockets also.
They are, you know, Bruce is a member of the Rocket Club, although I don't think he's an active member anymore. But he uses carbon fiber tubes, but he makes his own. But they use them for the shell of the outer part, not the part that touches anything burning, unless you want to get rid of it. So this is the outs. Can you see this?
Yeah.
Yeah, this
We're
is the outside. This is the outside of my observatory as of today.
Oh no, we're not seeing the observatory. Need to share a different window probably.
Okay. I thought I went in the same window. Okay, let's.
We're looking at Photoshop and a bunch
Yeah.
of.
I can't get back to the control panels for the.
See down at the bottom, go down to the bottom of the screen and where it says share screen.
Yeah, there's nothing there right now. My usual controls have all disappeared.
Let's see. Let's see if I stop your sharing. I'll stop your sharing.
Okay.
Let's see.
Okay,
See if you
good.
get back. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, now. There we go. Now you should see it.
Ah,
Okay. That's the outside of it as of this afternoon. And
That's huge.
yes, it's only 8 feet by 8 feet. And this goes back 8 feet toward the wall. These supports have been added. This was just finished today. We're going to put a low metal roof on that, hasn't arrived yet. And then this shows the inside, it shows the track mechanism. It's basically a garage door opener system. And we're going to get a motor that goes on the outside to move this back and forth. But pushing it by hand, it runs very easy.
You're going to spray paint all the wood?
All the wood inside is going to be primed and spray painted. Someone, I think it's Richard, Robert Richard, has painted the inside of his, or else it was Mike, painted the inside of their dome matte midnight blue. And that sounds like a good idea. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to put white LED lights and red LED lights next to each other at the top of each of the 4 walls. And there'll be a dimmer switch for them so they can all go off. Let's see, what else is there? Can you see this?
Just a blank screen.
Okay. How about now?
No, let me do that again for you.
Okay.
I'll stop your sharing here.
Good.
Okay. Oh, didn't really stop it, did it? Why not? Oh, here we go. Do this stop participant. Okay, I
Okay.
stopped the sharing.
Okay. So here is the, okay. This is in MathCAD, and these are just lists of the required back focus for a number of cameras and accessories and the required back focus. And this is the measurements of different things, including the aperture, effective focal length. It's all in inches. And so from this, then I can generate a program below that tells me where to put the screws for drilling the eyepiece hole and drilling the spider mount, the spider holes. And that's the rest. When that happens, the tube will be done. You had a question?
No.
Okay. So then,
so you have to compromise the hole somehow to adjust for all your cameras can be able to work?
if I do, there's some cameras I just won't use, but it looks like everything's going to fit. Because it's f3.8 and I want to use bigger chips, I'm getting this, it hasn't arrived, they're out of stock yet, but this is a paracore, a 3-inch diameter paracore, parabola corrector made by TeleWork, and it places at the top. I'm going to set the eyepiece focuser so that this line here, which is where the primary focus of the mirror is 1/4 inch above the top of the eyepiece focuser tube. So when it's maximum in, it gives me a 1/2 inch leeway to go back and forth to get the focus. And then the paracore will shift the focus from here out to the image surface here, 72.34 millimeters away. So I've got to fit everything between the top of the eyepiece focuser tube here and this distance here. So DSLR camera that I use is 2.5 inches, and this is about 2.4 inches. So I'm going to have to make an adapter with Precise Engineering, that website, and make
72 millimeters, that's almost 3 inches.
Almost 3 inches, yes, that's true. So it's over 2.5. So that's the longest one I have here. The focuser from tube outside to this first line is 5.44 inches. And that corresponds about to this length in the optics for the corrector. So that all fits. I'm not sure I'm going to use a Pixis rotator because the key thing for this tube in doing imaging is that we have to do off-axis guiding. I can't do a second tube on the outside because I'm sure this thing is going to flex somehow. So I don't see that I have the off-axis guider here, but it's in another list and I'll add it. But the off-axis guider, Orion makes a nice 2-inch diameter one. And the 3 inches down here of the entrance aperture of the corrector is not because I'm going to use 3 inches of focal plane. It's because the cone is so steep that I need a 3-inch entrance to get down to 2-inch by the time we get to the imaging plane. So I'll have in here, I will have, let's see, tube center for spin. Oh, that's the other. So I will have a 3 to 2 inch adapter, not necessarily for eyepiece. And then I can fit in my QSI cameras. They just fit in and they already have an off-axis pickoff in them. So I'm good there. The DSLR here doesn't have one. So I ordered a very, very thin one that only takes up 11 millimeters of back focus for the Canon DSLR. And with that, I will be able, with combinations of different types of extension tubes and stuff, I'll be able to use all the cameras that I have.
So how do you attach that optic focuser and base to your tube Is it just 4 screws holding on the curve, or?
I made a square piece of aluminum with a 3.5-inch hole in it, and then 4 screws that go down into the tube. And the Optec focuser fits into the hole, and then there's mounting screws that come in from the side that hold it on.
Is there any interference with images with that's sticking inside the tube at all?
No, no, the thing will stick up into the tube up to 1/2 inch. And the mirror is 18 inches and the tube inside is almost 22 inches.
Oh, yeah.
So I have a 1/2 inch or 1 inch to play with there. So
Now, the reason why you need a 3-inch TeleView is because of you're trying to get 55 millimeters of focal plane.
no, I actually, with what I have, I need a 37 millimeter diameter circle that is fully illuminated. And anything I can get bigger than that, out to 2 inches, I can get an image. But after 37 millimeters, the illumination begins to roll off.
So the size of the 3-inch TeleView is dictated by the F number, which is 3.8, correct?
Yeah.
Which means that my 14-inch, if I were to use it, would require a 3-inch, or the 10-inch F3.3 requires a 3-inch TeleView in order to properly.
Well, I think everything with a smaller mirror, it's compressed, and you could probably use a 2-inch paracore.
Okay.
You need something to get sharp images to the edge of the field. And most telescopes, when you buy a telescope, especially a Dob, they position everything so that the center field of view is fully illuminated, but it almost immediately starts to roll off. And by the edge of the field of view, you've lost about 25% of the light in each star. So that's a big correction for your flat field to make up. It does, but I'd rather prefer getting an image that has a uniform brightness over a wide range. So the signal to noise on bright objects or dim objects as they fade off doesn't go down into the mud.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have this more fully filled out and I can scroll down and show you everything I've got. I did a lot of calculations on this on another MathCAD spreadsheet, but I couldn't find that today.
So Jerry, sounds like you're going to confuse yourself between inches and millimeters.
I did that a long time ago. So I
were you involved with that Mars lander?
No, had nothing to do with it. I wasn't there. It was someone else looked just like me. No, that was at Lockheed.
Did you happen to do anything with the Webb telescope?
Say again, please.
Did you do anything with the Webb telescope?
With the red telescope?
Webb.
Oh, the James Webb. Yeah, that was supposed to be launched about the year 2000. And in the 1990s, we worked on the far infrared sensors for that, the focal plane. It was long wavelength Mercad telluride and extrinsic silicon for the very long wavelength.
Okay, cool. Well, it's working pretty good.
Yeah, into Galileo too.
Why do you say that? What's a Galileo?
Oh, it's the name of a satellite that went up years ago.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I predicted starfish looking stars and worked with Richard Berry. I showed you that figure, and it worked out. I mean, the actual images look like starfishes, 6 spikes.
So Eddie, you ready to do it again?
Hopefully, get it going. I gotta get my telescope working here, and then I gotta finish off my 12.5 inch.
Okay, I don't know how to get out of share again.
I'll cut you. Let's see.
Okay.
I'm under my view options. I can say stop participants sharing.
Okay, good, thanks. I don't know why my control panel goes away down here at the bottom.
You know, your full screen, I think you can click on something at the top that takes you out of exit full screen, I think. Maybe. Yeah, it's hidden at the top. It pops up when you put your mouse at the top of the screen or something.
Hmm.
Okay, so what do you think? Call it a night?
Yeah.
See you next
Great.
week. Fun.
Good to
See ya.
listen in.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. Take
Toodles,
care.
bye.
Thanks for the
Bye-bye.
help.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night.